and my co-host, Patty Peterson, are happy to be with you all here on Oneness Talk Radio, Facebook, and YouTube, and via podcast. And so, welcome everyone to this fabulous new illuminated moon. I'm sure you all can feel it. It just feels like a beautiful new energy today. So, if you're feeling like you're wanting to wear something new or do something new or try something new, that's this new moon you're feeling. And so today's show is we're going to talk a bit about self-worth. It is a topic that it comes up over and over and over again, whether you're not on the ascension path. I'm guessing you're on something like it if you're listening to this show. But as you lift more and more, and as your intention is to open your heart more and more and to become more of the truth of who you are, looking at your self-worth is something that is constantly there. And it can be very subtle. It can be in the subtlest ways, or it can be very much in your face. So we want to talk about some of the, how you know that the self-worth is knocking at your door again, and maybe some ways that we can help you work through that, because regardless, it's such an important thing. Right, Patty?
Very, very much so. And to have mercy on ourselves. We came into this life in forgetfulness, and separation. And we, from young, we looked outside of ourselves. So it's part of just our growth and evolution when we start recognizing, oh, okay, who am I besides this physical body and this personality self? And how do I value that part of that? So self-worth and value are two areas that have been really, like you mentioned, coming up maybe more now as we're in ascension energies and greater lights being shined, perhaps, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I know when I see a lot of reflections of that with my clients, it's like, look closer, Patty.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Well, and I noticed too, we've had so many of these up level moments, and every single time that we're up leveled, we, all that's not healed comes up. And so much of that is around the heart for everyone: self-worth, self-love, claiming your power, all of that. So as we refine our energy and move more into oneness, of course we have to move more into self-love and self-worth.
Yes. And our ego personality self will rear up a bit and say, are you sure? You really feeling safe? Can you let go? What else? Right. And for us to just get more clear. And it's often by the experiences that show up in front of us, right, Jer?
Absolutely.
You mentioned a couple in the promotion for their show.
Right. I mean, if you're wondering, if you're thinking, I got a pretty good handle on this self-love. I mean, I've been there. I've thought that before. I've got a pretty good handle on this. Well, the universe is so beautiful at offering you direct reflections in the people around you. So usually if you're in a relationship with someone and it's really good, if it's the opposite sex, it'll show up very quickly, why aren't things balanced? Why am I doing more and he's doing less, right? Or
even for me this week, it was like being attached to hearing from him, right? Why am I not? What, and that immediately now where I'm at going, okay, what is it I'm really looking for here? What is it I really need? And how do I give that to myself? And what in an old program that was running. And as I addressed the old program from younger years, was interesting. The outward circumstances changed.
Yeah,
Right?
well, and that was one of the keys I was going to mention to healing it. First, you need awareness. You need to be aware enough to
the celebration.
First of all, you have to love yourself to even look in the first place.
That's a good point. Excellent point.
So a lot of people would just blame or say, oh, it's him or her. I need to find a different partner.
Exactly.
Right? So, but once you really know that you're responsible for everything and you're the creator of your experience and you attracted this person for the gift that they have to offer. And
Yes.
oftentimes that gift is the mirror, right?
Yes, and it's not always fun, and it can be uncomfortable, and sometimes we gotta go through all those emotions and pain.
Absolutely. So you
Yeah.
got to love yourself enough to even look, to
Yes.
really look inside yourself. And
Yeah.
then, like you do, say, okay, what in me invited this to be, right?
Yeah.
You
What
know,
was I needing? If I'm expecting something outside of me, what is this I'm needing? Because self-worth is all about connecting with our goodness. It's seeing the
Mhm.
divine within. Whereas self-esteem is more that outward reflection, right? It's building more our personality self and based on behavior and conformity. Self-worth is what are some of those other words? Connected to our divine, it's goodness, it's having a sense,
Self-love,
yes, self-love, that I have
value,
value. There you go, value just for being because of the divine
mhm,
aspects and all we've
right? Yeah.
So
So, in another way we can find out besides the reflections that other people are offering us, it's all about the dream too, right? We all have dreams that
yes.
if you don't have a dream, you might want to ask yourself why and look for some inspiration because that's really the fire that keeps this life exciting and going
Mm,
is something to constantly, you know, get excited about, right?
mhm,
And so
mhm.
if you've had a dream and that dream isn't realizing, why isn't it?
Yes,
Is it, do I
yes,
feel like I don't deserve it? Is it too good to be true? Is it, do I, whatever?
right.
Because you can manifest anything. The only difference between you and the person next door that maybe has everything is your belief system and perception. The only
Mm,
thing. It
mhm,
doesn't matter the family you were born into or the country you're born
right.
into or the circumstances. We all have the same ability to create. The only thing different is our filters, and we set our filters, or we come in with them. We agree to them, right?
Oh, for sure, we agree with them, and so lineage-wise, right, whatever we might be carrying from a past life, and then look at the culture and the family and all of that we came through. Because I can speak from my personal past is the culture I've mentioned in other shows. I came from Finnish people. All my ancestors are Finn, and Finn are very quiet, stoic, don't share much. But then they're also through a very strict fundamentalist religion, and I know that some of those then what some hear is how worthless you are, right?
Mhm,
So, how, when that's here in some of these chakras overpowering, how, to unwind and really develop that connection to who we really are.
mhm,
How do I love that I am a divine being that does have worth and to release all those old dogmas?
mhm.
That's
Well,
a journey.
sure, and also if you've had a trauma or,
Yes.
a really harsh, hard experience, and
Mhm.
you've blamed yourself
Yeah.
in some way, or, you've done the I shouldn't have, I should have, I could have, I would have, right?
Mhm.
Um, that can affect your self-worth for a long time. I know that's an experience I had,
Yep.
and it can take a long time to heal through that.
That's
And
it.
it's a
Mhm.
process of forgiveness, forgiving yourself.
Over and over and over and over.
Oh, yeah, over no, it's not a one-time thing, right?
No, 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 no. There's layers, layers. I love the analogy. We got this from a mentor one time. Think about a rag that got paint in it, and you
Mhm,
start washing it out, and there's more, and it never ends hardly, right? It might get lighter
mhm.
and lighter. It is, but it just still remnants of paint. Think of that in relation to forgiveness.
Right. Right, and self-judgment.
Yeah.
Self-judgment's a biggie too. If you can let go of the self-judgment, that
Mhm.
that is a key to self-worth as well,
Ah,
because we're
yeah.
good at beating ourselves up, or we're good
That's
at
it.
noticing
Oh,
what might be wrong with us
yes.
more than what is right with us.
Right. I mean, how many of us compare?
Mhm,
And especially in the day of all this social media, and everybody only puts up their airbrushed beautiful pictures or whatever, right? You know? And so the comparison is a judgment. And
mhm,
I know through some of the courses I'm going through this year, getting more clarity, awareness on finer areas where I was judging myself where I didn't before, right? So there again is those layers or more light brought to other aspects.
Right. And a great tool for that is the ability to lift above it. First notice, okay, I'm judging myself. Lift
Mhm.
above and
Mhm.
wrap love, and however you do that, right? Through
Right.
visual
Or
visual.
the physical self. Yes.
Yeah, for me,
From
it's
high.
visualizing pink, maybe gold, and it's always the ego self that doesn't have the self-worth. It's that
Yes.
child, right? The child
Yes.
that
Yes.
didn't,
That took on.
that's still
Mhm.
hurt, right, in some
Mhm.
way,
Mhm.
or it's still
Yep.
tender.
Mhm.
That young, I visualize pink or gold around that part of myself and
That's
love the
beautiful.
judger. You have to
That's
love yourself
beautiful.
for judging.
Great point. Yes, yes, yes. Yeah, lots of forgiveness. Forgive yourself for judging. How do I bring greater love to all aspects of me in whatever way, you know, each person feels it? Because that's key, right? We can start by just saying it, and then it's getting deeper into the really feeling the anchoring of it.
Mhm,
Right?
mhm,
Yes. And how about another way then what's coming to mind through this is gaining, when we look back at some of those traumas, those challenges, can we start looking at it and claim some of the positives that we're developing in ourselves, right?
mhm,
Really, really claiming, wow, what all, and do I now, can I really honor this and claim this in my service out into the world? It's a
mhm.
beautiful way to help enhance that self-worth.
Mhm. Well, and claiming period is one of the points or keys to
Mhm.
self-worth. So
Mhm.
I know many women who've gone through divorces and have just
Mhm.
said, okay, I've let the other person have everything, right? It
I
was
have
just
to. Yes.
easier.
Yes.
So was it easier, or was there a part of that person that felt like they didn't deserve? Or it's so a part of self-worth is to be able to claim your value. And
Right.
I had to do this
Right.
for a really long time. I had to go to court and spend money to fight for
Right.
what was mine. It would have
Yes.
been so much easier to not do that, but there
Yes.
was so much value in I'm setting a clear message to the universe that
That's
I'm
it.
not going to allow this to happen to me, and
Mhm.
this is mine, so I'm going after it.
Mhm.
And
Absolutely.
and that's
Rescripting old stuff, right? At
right.
every step you were taking with that claiming and going for it, action. Mhm.
Right, because what tends to happen if you don't do that, maybe you don't get the feedback in the divorce and that becomes easier, but then you go out in the world and you get it everywhere else. So it's like
Mhm.
you don't heed it. You can run from the one situation of it, but you still have the rest of life that's still offering you that energy. So
Right. 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 Very much. Um, Claiming, yeah, all those gifts and whatever it is, positives that we're taking through from all those experiences. And how is this in my world now? Mhm,
Mhm. Yeah,
mhm.
and I'm thinking too about, how often do you get a compliment from someone
Yes,
and you want to quick move through it because you can't receive the energy of it.
yes,
Or someone goes to offer you a hug and it's like a half hug, right?
yeah, yes,
So
yes,
that's all energy in a subtle way of not being able to receive because of lack of self-worth.
right, right.
Right.
Yeah, yeah, unable to receive a compliment. There's a healing mantra we use for our, I think it's a sacral chakra, Jer, where it says, I learned from my negative personality traits. Nope, nope, nope. Yeah, I guess that's it. And align with my positive. I was thinking about, go ahead. It left my mind.
Yeah, well, I can remember a point on my journey being there when someone would offer me a compliment, or they were ready to give me some information or something, and I would like want to scoot ahead because it was so
Yes.
hard. And
Yes.
I would have to ask myself, why am I scooting ahead? Why am I trying to
Yes. To
not
get out.
receive this gift of energy they're offering me?
Yes. Thank you, because that now brought it in. It's about, can I be comfortable and secure in receiving praise and just as likely not reactive to somebody's disdain or anger,
Mhm.
right? And that's third chakra.
Right.
So, right. I used to know that, like, even starting with, something you're wearing or anything, and somebody gives you a compliment, it's like, oh, I just got this secondhand, you blow it up. So it's like,
Mhm.
no, I look good. Thank you.
Mhm.
Oh, and how do we receive any of that? For me, sometime somebody, especially that I deemed as a teacher or mentor, gave me a compliment, I would be like, if I shared it with somebody I loved, I get teary eyed, like I choked up. I could hardly really even say it. Truth chakra.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah. Self-worth is really a practice in so
Yeah.
many ways, right? A constant practice of noticing the judgment, doing the forgiveness, practicing, how do you feel hanging around people who have a lot, right? And
Yeah.
I'm thinking of finances because your finances are going to reflect your self-worth. If you
Mhm.
have a really low sense of self-worth, those are hand in hand. And
Yeah.
so and I can remember a time where I was uncomfortable walking in a neighborhood with huge houses that were
Yes.
beautiful.
Me too. Yep.
I felt
Mhm.
uncomfortable just
Mhm.
walking down the street. And
Yep.
I'm like, "This
Mhm.
is interesting." And there was one time where I literally cried the whole way down the street because I felt so uncomfortable.
Mhm.
And it's like, wow. So I had to do this a number of times till I could be like, "Okay, I'm comfortable here now. Now I
Yeah.
can actually see myself here."
Yes. I love that. Very much so. That's been a practice for me too. Just being around a little more abundant places and seeing how it feels for me, and what old programs, often from our lineage or whatever, that I noticed would come up.
Mhm.
Country bumpkins was something my mother used to always say, and just witnessing some of this and going, where do I how do I feel in receiving? And the new saying of, that's for me too, right? When you see something you
Mhm.
like, that's for me
That's
too.
right. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, in so much of our travels with Self-Ascension, we've been on many trips together to Thailand and
Mhm.
India, and we almost always stay in five-star hotels,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And the money always shows up. It's part of us taking care of us. Now, granted, we're
Mhm.
going across the world and staying in places where we have no idea, right? So
Right.
it's just
Mhm.
kind in the sense that we know we're gonna be taken care of, it's a safe area and
Mhm.
all that. But
Mhm.
it comes with a certain, um, feeling. There's times where we went, "Oh my gosh, this is almost too nice," right? Ah,
Exactly.
right?
Exactly.
It
Yeah.
was a practice to just be able to stay somewhere that nice.
Oh, I've gotten spoiled now.
Yes.
Yes, that to enjoy and savor, and I deserve. And it didn't Saint Germain model a lot of beautiful, abundant opulence as a
Yeah,
deserving?
yeah.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
neither
Because
one of us ever went broke staying in a five-star hotel, did we? Because
no.
that would be the thought process, right? "Well, I can't
Right.
afford that," right? That
Right.
comes with
Mhm.
the self-worth.
Mhm. Yeah. True. True. Yeah, noticing, as we do some of these, connections and claiming our goodness and our divinity, soul-based knowing, our good intentions, paying attention to what shows up. It can be something as maybe simple but beautiful as a friend showing up with, delicious new fresh baked bread for us, and how are we at just receiving? I know I have a neighbor that just shows up with all these beautiful dried herbs from her garden. And wow, what comes up in me sometimes, I don't know if I do enough for her.
Right,
Right?
right.
Yeah.
And that's actually one of the things to look at around self-worth too is, are you putting yourself first? Are you making sure your needs are met before other
Yes,
people's needs are met?
right. Are we aware of what our needs are? Some
Are we
people
even
are very
aware? Right. Yeah, you might
right?
wanna start with a list.
Yeah,
These are my
yes,
needs. To even
yes,
look
getting
at
more
your
clear.
needs and acknowledge them is a step in self-worth.
Absolutely, absolutely, and those can change and refine too, right? And
Mhm.
so, wow, I mean, I'm getting those opportunities right now too to go, "Okay, really, what is my need here in this connection, and what are, my needs?" And yeah, that too, as mothers, especially single mothers, working mothers, as from my experience, so used to having to keep everybody else, helping and doing for everybody else that we got put on the back burner.
Right.
And that's sometimes modeled for us, and some of the martyrdom and all of that too, to work through and go, okay, where is my value? And so I really love assisting clients with that as I see these, especially that's a lot of what I get, the young mothers, and being able to, and then what starts flowing, you're connecting more with the divine flow, right, Chair?
Mhm, absolutely.
Mhm.
And it's fun to actually you maybe set an intention for a week, like, "I'm gonna really pump up the
Mhm.
self-worth. So I'm gonna sit down, write a list, first of all, what my needs are, right? And then I'm gonna have probably boundaries around these because as soon as you set up a
Oh,
list of what
oh,
my
yes,
needs are, you're gonna get
yes,
tested.
yes. The universe will test you. Be prepared.
The universe will say, "Are you sure?" And
Yeah.
so, you'll have opportunities over and over again to claim those needs. And,
Mhm.
buy yourself those flowers and give
Yes.
yourself the you
Like
know, the
Gladys mentions, the massages.
the
Yes.
massages, right?
Mhm.
And practice the forgiveness and noticing the self-judgment and do all those things, and by the end of the week, I can guarantee you the reflections will be magical to the point where you'll laugh.
That's I just felt my whole heart expanding as Jerry's mentioning all of that. Yes, I totally agree that when we start to change, especially, changing some of the ways that we were, people are maybe reactive at first, to really keep trusting yourself, and being okay with if somebody has a little meltdown around you, holding a boundary around, well, I need to have this time or whatever it is,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
Because low self-worth, we're often people pleasers and putting everybody else's needs first. And so soon as we change that, it's going to change, the whole dynamic with everybody around us.
Mhm.
Mm,
Yeah, I'm thinking of the caretakers
yeah.
and the teachers and
Oh,
many people who are listening to a show like this are healers or they've been healers
kind of
and
notorious for healers. Yes.
yeah, notorious for wanting to help everyone else before ourselves.
Yes. And
And
how many of
and
us,
those are the ones that take on other people's energy
that's it.
a lot of
I had to
times.
go through that so
Mhm,
strongly in the early days for me to recognize it, to look at it, right?
mhm,
The depressed clients, I'd go home and I'd lay on the floor, feel depressed, and
mhm.
ran myself ragged, and it's great lesson. I needed to see it that way. Otherwise, I may not have seen it. The body will talk.
Absolutely, it's our truth
Oh.
detector.
Absolutely. Yeah. So it's around the boundaries too, right?
Mhm,
Boundaries are another aspect, to pay attention to as far as honoring when we really value our self-worth.
mhm. Yeah, boundaries are definitely a piece of self-worth for sure.
Mhm, 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 mhm. Yeah. Any other like affirmations, Jerry, that you use? Positive affirmations?
I don't know. Do you have some handy?
Well, besides, like you mentioned, step out of me a little bit, looking at
Mhm,
and giving her love. And then, I mean, sometimes it's just, I forgive you. You're doing your best and with your
mhm,
consciousness at the time. And then can I claim something kind of positive and say around it? You
mhm,
know, um, um, anything around that value or that worth. I love, the one for another one for the solar plexus, like I mentioned about being safe with, being comfortable with the praise versus the disdain, is I am aware of my unique gifts and talents. When I start saying that in the early days, notice how the stomach feels, right? Does it absorb it and say it? Hold it and feel it and emanate it. Or is it kind of going, I'm not so sure about this? I am aware. I claim the positive, this gift, skill, or talent.
Right. I find myself saying often the I deserve because I was born.
Good one. Yes.
I deserve because I was born.
Yes. Yes. That is, and really starts anchoring in that traditional root chakra.
Right.
Feeling around all this safe being who we are in our skin and that we are supported. And that flow Geri talked about with how is abundance, the flow of money. Money is so much around those lower chakras. And so that constant feeling that flow. And that's also about, I know when to receive love rather than giving on empty. That's also, bringing, as we repeat that and connect with that, those lower chakras.
Right. And I think, and I know I do this, and I have to really watch myself. I feel so abundant inside, and I can feel that way even when my body is sick, and not sick, but maybe worn down. But I still feel this abundant inside. Oh, I can give. And out the door I go, and then boom, like, oh my goodness, no, slow, give myself more, then
Right.
give out a little bit, give myself more, give out a little bit.
Yes. Yeah, even honoring that. Hey, maybe today I need the rest. That's a good, right? And then depleted myself so many times, and the body always spoke to me. Listening, I got clear, needed more time. How am I fulfilling myself? That's going back kind of what are my needs?
Right.
What fulfills me now? What brings me more of that joy flow, passion, fun? Ooh.
I know. A matter of fact, I just did that the other day. I was so excited. There were so many things that I wanted to do, and I didn't have enough time. I'm like, okay, if there was 6 of me, and one of me could each do something different, what would I do? And so I literally
Ooh.
gave myself, one of me would be dancing 24/7,
Okay.
one of me would be creating, one of me would be playing music, one of me. And so,
Loving? What?
what?
And how I was just like, and how about loving? Or
Oh, well, loving me by doing the things I love.
yeah. Just thinking, where's anybody else in there?
Nope, I didn't
Yes,
add
we are.
it.
Geri,
Go
are
ahead.
we good with the Collins? Is there any more time? Somebody's asking.
No, there's only 2 minutes, and I didn't turn the call board on. Darn,
Okay.
Geri, shoot.
Yes, we
If you have
love.
a question you can put in the chat, we can answer that.
We love connecting, and we apologize for that.
I always turn it on, but the 2 times that I've had someone wanting to call in, I haven't had it turned on.
And it doesn't work on my computer yet. I haven't figured it out, but thank you.
Okay, Patty, do you have your cards of clarity with you?
Yep.
I think because it's new moon, and it doesn't even matter if it's not, but it feels more special today.
Okay.
So you pick a card and I'll pick a card, and we'll see what the cards
What do
say.
we most need to hear today? All here for the higher good. What do we need to hear? Okay.
I can almost tell you what one of the cards is going to be.
Okay, what are you guessing? What are you guessing? I got root chakra.
Oh, there we go. We deserve because you were born.
Exactly.
And I got benevolent ones 10. So it's about acting without hesitation, because the doubt is in the hesitation. So
Right.
trusting your actions.
Yes. Yes. Love it. That takes practice too.
It all does.
Credit. Give yourself credit, yes, to keep enhancing that trust. Because the more that we doubt ourselves or judge ourselves, then that trust takes a hit. And so you want to keep going, Even I trust myself to choose this type of coffee this morning. Start something small, you know? Build
Absolutely.
that muscle, all of it. And
Absolutely. Trust
keep
is love and love is a trust. A
yeah.
and we've been on this journey for 13 years, constantly doing the work, so it's a
Mhm.
never-ending process. We're all doing this together, so hopefully we've offered you something that'll help you out a little bit more. At
Yeah,
least you can be looking at your self-worth anyways, and
right.
so,
Yes,
um
an honor, and at any time, Jerry and I both are available for consultations. We do free 15-minute, or a full session if you want, any of that. Our info's below or above.
Yep. Okay, everyone, have a great week and do something great for yourself. It's new moon, so
Yes,
it's a great time to do something new and to take care of you.
yes, let it be fun. Namaste.